Hello, everyone. I late. If you guys can hear my voice, it is hello, everybody. I once again I do apologize for being so late. Hello, Cast Iron Chaos. Did you see the video of the possible BSNR camp oven? Let me know if you got to see it, and I'd like to know your thoughts of that. All right, guys. Let me know if you guys can see the chat. I'm sorry, if you guys can see the video pretty well and hear me well. I'm looking at the chat, looking at what you guys are saying. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Cynthia. Who else do we have? Billy Lee Lahone, Shadow Walker XM, Jeanette, Cynthia, Cast Iron Chaos, Rick, Corey Clark. Cast Iron Chaos. Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Quickly, guys. I want to know if you guys can hear me. Let me know in the chat. Keeps freezing. I'm afraid my Wi-Fi is acting up again. Hopefully you guys can hear and see it. Okay. Let me restart this, guys. Let me restart this, and we'll see if it works better. All right, guys. Can you hear or can you hear and can you see the video? No luck? Let me know, guys. Debbie says yes. Okay, guys. I'm gonna get hello, Bookworm 73, Shadow Walker XM. Can hear and or can see and hear you now. Okay, great, guys. I hear you all good. Yes. Rick, yes. Okay, now Luis. Okay, I did switch over. Right now, I'm running on. I did have it connected to the Ethernet, but I switched over to my high speed. I'm sorry, I had it connected to a low speed internet connection. I'm actually on Wi-Fi, so I did switch it over to my higher speed, and I think it's helping out. So let me know if there's any issues, guys. Once again, if you guys hear my voice, I am sick, so hopefully I won't be coughing too much or sneezing too much. Once again, I mean allergies. I don't know if they are allergies or what's going on, but I feel like I've gotten sick at least 10 times, in the last 4 months, which isn't fun. It's been on and off, and my kids are in school, so it's like a germ factory there. And honestly, it's I think I won't stop being sick until summer. So hopefully by summer we won't be getting sick so often. Rhode Island Eats, welcome. Yeah, I was actually also on the Mud Broker and Cast Iron Chaos live yesterday night, and it was actually very entertaining. I liked both interactions there, and it's fun because that style was very informative in every sense. Not only do we also get to hear information from Cast Iron Chaos, but we got to also hear some information from the Mud Broker. So that was fun, and I liked it a lot. So I'm looking forward to more collaborations. Their collaborations. I do like that style, and it was great. So I think for the first one, it was a very big success for them. So props to Cast Iron Chaos. Props to the Mud Broker. As I said, they did a great job last night. But with that, for those of you that are just joining us, we are doing the 5 cheese mac and cheese, and this is somewhat of a copycat to the Culinary Fanatic. Um, Here we have some cheddar. We have Parmesan or I say Parmesan. I'm not sure how. I know some other like East Coast says so they have a different way of saying Parmesan, but for me, that's how I know it. Parmesan cheese. We have smoked cheddar. We have pepper jack. I like a little bit of spice in mine. The last one is going to be mozzarella, pepper jack, smoked cheddar, Parmesan cheese, and then we have sharp cheddar cheese. So with that, what I did is I bought these cheese blocks, 1 pound each, and I grated them, except for these two, which is the Parmesan cheese and the smoked cheddar. Those were a little bit smaller, and I just used, grated those down. And so yeah, so I think it's better, and I've noticed, especially when you're making a sauce. So for example, if you guys are making any kind of Italian recipe that requires you to make a cheese sauce in a sense, like an Alfredo, I have seen that, and I've actually experienced it. Using freshly grated cheese from a block, it will emulsify into your sauce a lot better. And if you buy the pre-grated stuff, it does have either, I think it's potato starch as a anti-caking agent. I think that's what it is, potato starch or some kind of starch to prevent it from caking. So it does help the sauce to emulsify a lot better, especially with carbonara as well. I would recommend you guys buy your own cheeses and grate them. It works so much better. But with that, let's get started. I know I've been chatting here a lot. So as I said, we're going to need 1 pound of each, and we're going to get started. Also, we got some elbow macaroni, and I had to go searching. This is why I was late for the my own live. I could not find my elbow macaroni, so I finally found the box, and I was almost thinking that I wasn't going to be able to do the mac and cheese today. So I was just going to do like a Ask Me Anything kind of stream. But then I went looking through my drawers, and I finally found it all the way in the back. So anyway, let's get started. We're going to boil these, and we'll get going. Dragging you guys along with me over to my stove. Alrighty, guys. Debbie says, real cheese for me. Yeah, a lot better in many aspects. Let me know if you guys can hear the mic really well, or if I sound well on the mic. All right. Also, if you guys are going to boil any kind of pasta or boil anything for that matter, boiling cold water is the best way to go. It boils a lot quicker, even though it might seem counterintuitive to that. Like, you might be like, well, why am I boiling cold water? How's that gonna save me time? It really does. So with that, I got my enamel Dutch oven here, and we're gonna go on a high setting here. And typically I don't like using olive oil, but I'm gonna use a little bit to prevent the noodles from sticking, especially because I'm doing a live and anything can go wrong. So these are preventative measures. I usually don't add olive oil into the water for any kind of pasta, but as I said, I don't want the the live to get chaotic in a sense. So with that, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to let it come to a boil. Also, a good way to get your water to come to a boil is to cover it up. So let me actually get the ingredient list for this 5 cheese mac and cheese. Once again, I appreciate everybody joining in. Shadow Walker XM, thank you for showing up. Potato and or rice starch as anti-clump, but you have to be careful as it also thickens thickens a lot as well. Yeah, and this is why, as I said earlier, I like using blocks of cheese. You know, you don't have any of that stuff in your cheese, so your recipes will come out a lot better. And if you're trying to emulsify and make a sauce, it will become a lot smoother, quicker, and honestly, taste wise, I think it does taste a lot better than already either shredded or grated cheese. Once again, I'm going to let's see. There we go. All right. Let me know if the stream is still fine, guys. Let me know if you guys can still see me and hear me, or see me here. But um, let me get the recipe for you guys. That way, you guys can copy the recipe, or actually, well, the recipe is actually from the Culinary Fanatic in a sense. He does jack cheese, I think, instead of pepper jack, and instead of smoked cheddar, he does pecorino romano. Corey Clark says, "I'm jealous of that Stover waffle iron." Yeah, I saw Cast Iron Chaos's waffle iron. That piece is amazing. It looks great. I'm sure that he took his time looking for something that he was gonna enjoy, and uh, quality wise, along with price wise. I'm sure that he found something that was going to be at the price that he could, or he wanted to pay. All right. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Actually, what I do need is some water. Okay, so 5 cheese mac and cheese, and what the Culinary Fanatic does is he adds, um, as I mentioned, he does mozzarella, he does parmesan, he does sharp cheddar, and what else? He does Monterey Jack instead of pepper jack. Yeah, Monterey Jack, mozzarella, sharp cheddar, grated Romano, and grated Parmesan. And then he also does eggs, the milk, butter. He does salt, pepper, paprika, and sugar as well. So those are the ingredients, guys, if you guys want to prepare something similar to this. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Cast Iron Chaos. I almost did forget to salt the water. All right. I never know how much salt, but they just say salty, as salty as the ocean. Once again, I do have a cold or something, whatever. So, as I said, my voice might go out. So, I'm going to do my best not to talk too much, guys. So, bear with me. I know that that might get a little monotone or boring for some time, but let's hope that this goes quickly. What I can do is actually that since this isn't that entertaining watching water boil, what I do want to do is show you guys uh, some restored pieces that I just got, or not that I just got, but some restored pieces of iron that I just did for myself once again. All right, guys. So I'm going to show you guys the pieces that I've been somewhat working on and seasoning for some time now. And I did put these in my lye tank and took them out about a week or so ago. This one here is the Wagner ware. Let me move you guys over here. This is the Wagner ware square skillet. I have 2 of these. I have one that doesn't sit completely flat, but this one does. So I'm gonna keep this one, and I actually have the other one on sale, and I'm gonna sell that one because I really don't need two pieces. Um, as I said, this one is actually in decent shape. The other one is in a lot better shape. But I figured that I keep this one since I do have a electric stovetop. So as I said, it doesn't spin. It's flat. I like it a lot. That's one of them. My goodness. All right. The next one I've been working on is this mystery skillet. Sorry, guys. I think my microphone might have cut off. This is the other one that I've been working on. This is a mystery skillet in a sense. It's somewhat of a fancy handle. It's a number 7. One thing though that I've noticed is that it's a lot deeper than some of the other ones that I have. This one's about a 2-inch depth um, piece of cast iron cookware. Now let me measure it quickly actually, because I've always noticed how deep this skillet has been, but I don't know. So yeah, it's actually 2.5 inches. So yeah, that's a lot deeper than the most number 7s. I think most number 7s are going to be about 1 7/8, or maybe even close to 2. So this one's like 2 1/4. Actually, I'm sorry, 2 1/4. So it is a deeper skillet, but I liked it a lot because of the handle. And my brother ended up finding this, and I restored it, and still has a little bit of uneven seasoning, as you can see here, but I think it's evened out really well, and I do like this a lot. So I've been seasoning this for about a week or so, but I mean, it doesn't have like 20 coats. It has about 5 coats. So one day I'll season, the next day I'll season. So I'll just season it once in a day. But I'm just trying to get it back because I did go back down to bare iron. So we're on about 6 coats here, and I think I'm gonna stop there because you don't want to build up too much seasoning either. Now the one that I just worked on today was actually this one here, and it's the cornbread skillet. I've had this one for some time, and I've actually featured it on the channel, but I never actually restored it. I got it like the way it was, and it had pretty thick seasoning built up on it. But the more that I used it, the more the seasoning started to flake off. So at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna strip it down. So I put it in the lye tank for about, I don't know, maybe 2 months, and it was actually pretty thick seasoning that had developed on the skillet, on the cornbread skillet. And after those 2 months, I finally had time, and I finally remembered and went through it and restored it. So this is the, I think, first or second coat. Actually, no, this is the second coat. These are 2 coats on it, and I think it's already looking great. So I'm excited to give this a go. One of the reasons why I decided to get this one going is because I'm going to be doing a review on the cornbread that Lodge has recently announced that they are, selling on their website store. So with that, look forward to a video, and also we might do a live, doing some cornbread. We'll do some Southern style cornbread. We're gonna do some sweet, and we're also gonna do a savory. So we're gonna do all those, and obviously Lodge has all those. So we're gonna be using Lodge cornbread mix. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, so I just did 2 coats today on this one, and I think it's looking pretty good. What do you guys think? This one also had a weird um, casting flaw here, and I ended up fixing it here. I removed some excess iron, and I think it turned out pretty good. Sorry once again. Mm. My sister's in the chat. Hello, Sylvia. Is there a wobble? And which one? The The Wagnerware, the other one does have one. This Wagnerware does not. Don't know if you guys can hear that, but doesn't really have a teeter either. So yeah, this one is actually, I mean, I'll be honest, I think Wagner are notorious for being spinners, but this one lays pretty flat and sits flat, so I like it a lot. Also, we have this one actually does not spin either. There's a little bit of movement, but the ones that I've seen that are similar to this, they usually have a heat ring. This one does not. So I've seen some that are almost nearly identical to this pan. They're also, there's no branding, no name on it. So nobody really knows. So they consider this to be a Southern mystery skillet. And so do I. I mean, I don't know what it is. But as I said, I like the handle. The handle design is very, very neat. It's actually very comfortable too. And then I think there's a little bit of wobble on the Lodge. No, that's just the weight. A little bit of a tick right here. You press down right at the 12 o'clock. Very, very minimum. I want to say maybe like a playing card thickness. Sorry about that, guys. I keep coughing. But those are the skillets I've been working on that are vintage pieces. And I love these pans. They're great. One that I usually don't showcase it, but I like a lot is one of my Wagnerware chef skillets. These things are amazing. They work great. So I restored this one last year. I did showcase it on the channel as well. And it's a Wagnerware chef skillet, 9-inch. And this guy sits pretty flat. I remember when my brother brought it home and I saw it, I was like, I immediately knew it was a Wagnerware. Just obviously the handle, Wagnerware is, very well known for these handles. So I knew it was a Wagner. And I was excited for it because I've been wanting one of these pans. So I finally got one. And man, this thing does eggs and all kinds of breakfast items really well, especially like hash browns, pancakes, eggs, even a single serving of like a piece of French toast as well. It cooks really well. And this one here sits relatively flat as well. I mean, if I push on it, there's no movement on it. Also, not a spinner. So very happy with this pan. This is my favorite one. This is so far my favorite Wagner that I own. As I said, I love these chef skillets. These are great. The weight on it is very, very good, actually. It's not as heavy, but it's got a little bit of weight to it. So either way, I think it's a great pan. And as I said, these are one of my favorite Wagner pieces. All right, as you guys can see, I hope you guys can see, there's a little bit of steam coming out. So yeah, we got some water boiling. All right. So in the macaroni, there we go. And once again, thank you, Cast Iron Chaos, for not letting me boil my pasta without any kind of salt. That would be some very bland pasta. Stir it a little bit, making sure that nothing gets stuck on the bottom. With like enameled cookware, it's almost like stainless steel. You do have to be careful that it doesn't get stuck, because things can stick to enameled pieces. They're not necessarily non-stick. A lot of food can still stick to it. I'm gonna do a little vortex. Keep the noodles or the elbows, the elbows, the macaroni from getting stuck to the bottom. Man, this cough, I swear. We're gonna cover this, just not completely. That way we don't boil over either. But we still have some of that steaming effect getting trapped in there and cooking it. We're gonna go al dente, or a little bit before al dente. That way we still have a little bit of chew and not so soggy of a macaroni. And then we're gonna drain it, add some butter to it. So I gotta actually cut some butter. I gotta move all my cast iron cookware out of the way. So give me a minute. Bear with me, guys. If you guys would see my house right now, I got so much cast iron cookware everywhere. It's a little bit embarrassing, I'll be honest. I got to come up with a better system. Actually, what I need to do is actually stop collecting stuff. I'm even getting to the point that I'm getting anxious of how much cast iron cookware I have. I think that's where I need to cut it down. All right, I am back. I did actually add, who was it that said, let's see. Bookworm73 says, good luck with stopping the collecting. Yeah, I know. That's probably not going to happen, to be honest. Corey Clark says, Louise, a shot of oil to the water, your pasta won't stick. Yeah, I actually did that just because of that. I normally do not add oil. I've heard of a lot of Italians say that you're not supposed to put oil in your pasta water, and they get somewhat offended. So I've done my best to not, follow that rule, where I don't necessarily add the oil to the pasta water, but for non-chaotic events, and I figured that a live stream is most chaotic. I don't want my pasta to get stuck, so I added oil this time. Hopefully, no Italian gets offended, and I'm not trying to, step on anybody's toes. I'm just saying, this is just chatting, guys. You guys can cook whatever way you guys like. It's like when I see a lot of recipes, especially when it comes to like Mexican cooking. Um, a lot of people have embraced the Mexican food, and they like making some recipes and making it their own. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. If you guys like a certain Mexican recipe and you guys add your own twist to it, there's nothing wrong with that because you're going to be eating it. And if you enjoy it, then that's great. And then if people that you cook it for enjoy it as well, even better. So there's no traditional recipe. There's I want to say like principles to it, but nothing has to be traditional in the sense that food is food and you can add whatever that you like, and if it's going to taste great, even better. We're getting a little bit stuck at the bottom here, so stirring it along. Alrighty. Now, what else do I? Oh, yeah, I need to cut some butter. I'd like to read some of the comments here as well. Salted butter is the best of both worlds. Yeah, and actually I was thinking because the Culinary Fanatic doesn't really say whether to use unsalted or salted butter, but I think salted butter is going to be the way to go. So I just grabbed salted butter for the macaroni or the mac and cheese. My sister says, I like Luisa's mac and cheese, but I love Vicky's mashed potatoes. Yes, Vicky, my wife, she has a great recipe for mashed potatoes, and I think she might have gotten it from the Pioneer Woman. She has actually very good recipes. I do like some of her recipes. I've seen, and I haven't tried it yet, but I've seen her do an upside down pizza in her pan because she has her own line of cast iron cookware, and she did a pizza, upside down pizza. So I maybe something I want to try. I don't. We'll see. Maybe I might do something like that in a live. Let's see where else. 5 cheese mac and cheese. The water boiled very fast. Yeah, actually, This one here is a quick boil. So yes, it did boil pretty quickly. And also, I want to say that it boiled quicker because I added cold water instead of warm water. When I first started cooking, I would always do hot water because I was like, it makes sense. Add hot water, you heat it up, it's going to get hotter. But then somebody in the culinary world said, always use cold water. Don't ever use hot water. It's not going to, boil quickly. And once I started boiling water cold water, I would notice how quickly it would come to a boil. So I've stuck with that, and it works for me. So maybe a little hack there for you guys. Gordon Ramsay got very pissed when his inspiring cooks put salt in the pasta water. What? He puts oil in his water. What's wrong with putting salt? You're supposed to put salt in it, otherwise your pasta's not going to taste like anything. Although I do have to say that Gordon Ramsay is one of my favorite cooks, celebrity cooks. Papa Dan says, Luis, as long as the food tastes good, I don't care how it was cooked. Yes, 100%. Papa Dan says, always use hot water to put in the freezer for ice cubes. I believe you're correct. I think there's some science to that as well. Corey Clark said he made him dump him out. Nah, I'd be upset. Corey Clark, yeah, hot water freezes faster. Yeah, I gotta try that. I think we're getting close to the 8 minute mark. I think you're supposed to boil it for 8 minutes. I mean, I didn't put a timer on, but what do you guys think? I think it's ready. Actually, I should take a look at it. Get rid of the cover. I don't know where, if it was my mother or who it was, but they would always say, "Don't try the pasta when it's undercooked. You're gonna get." There's a Mexican, or not necessarily. I guess you could say it's Mexican. There's a Mexican phrase or a Mexican word, empachado, which could be like bloated, or like you could get a stomach ache for eating things that are not fully cooked, and that can be like pasta that's not fully cooked. You can get empachado, and they would always tell me that. So I've always had that fear that I would get sick from eating undercooked pasta. Oh, that is still very hard. No, not even close to being ready. What the? Figured it'd be in there since it was in there for some time now. But let's do another 2 minutes. See how that turns out. Still, the noodles are very, very hard. But as I said, we're going to cut some butter up too, and we're going to use a 3/4 of a stick. And we're going to, once we drain the pasta, we're going to add while the pasta's still warm, we're going to add the butter and mix it. From there, we can wait about 20 minutes, and then we're going to add the cheeses and the milk, which I need to do, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. I haven't done the milk mixture for the pasta. Actually, I have a question for Cast Iron Chaos. I don't know if he's still here on the live, but have you tried the Culinary Fanatics mac and cheese recipe? If so, let me know. I've done it more than once, and that's the mac and cheese recipe that I like using. So yeah, the recipe that I've always showcased on the channel has always been from the Culinary Fanatic. So props to him. He's a great, honestly, he's a great cook. So I've seen a lot of his stuff on TikTok, Instagram, and he has a lot of amazing recipes that he does. And I mean, he's very dedicated to the cooking aspect of, not just necessarily the cast iron itself or the cookware itself. He loves culinary. Hence, I think why he's the Culinary Fanatic. I'm going to turn on my fan just a bit. There's a good amount of moisture building up on my hood range. Hopefully it's not going to be too loud. That's right. I was going to cut the butter. So once again, I'm going to be using salted butter, and we're going to need about 3/4 of a stick of butter. So there we go. And I think we're getting close, so I need my colander to drain my pasta. Oh my goodness. Okay, I feel like it's getting a little chaotic here. Don't want my pasta to boil over. I don't want it to be overcooked as well. Nobody likes mushy macaroni and cheese. Sorry guys if I haven't looked at the chat right now. I'm kind of trying to get this correct. I am going to be sharing this macaroni and cheese with family. So trying my best to get this done correctly. And you know what? I'll be honest with you guys. I think there's been maybe once or twice where I do a recipe for you guys, whether it's live or I think there's one occasion where it was live or it was a video that I posted. But like the way it turned out, I think it was either too much salt. It was really salty. Oh, actually, you know what it was? I remember now. It was the deep dish pizza. So I added salt to the sauce because I made a homemade pizza sauce. Then I added the bacon because I used Joshua Wiseman's recipe. And I added bacon to the sauce. So there's more salt there. Then I added, what else did I add? Oh, I added the Italian sausage, which was salty. And the Parmesan cheese and Pecorino Romano was salty. So after everything was mixed, because I was tasting everything individually. After everything was mixed and I baked the pizza, oh my goodness, it was just salty as can be. And my family was kind enough to eat it, but I know that they just honestly they did it because they were hungry, and they did it because they were being polite. But there are times that I will admit that I do mess up, and not everything that I do is a 100% success every single time. It honestly is practice. So if you guys ever try a recipe, don't be discouraged if it doesn't turn out the first time. Believe me, in the beginning when I first started cooking, man, I would mess it up a lot, but you get used to it. I don't know why this pasta feels like it's still undercooked. But you know what? We're gonna take it out because what does the box say? My goodness, how long is this supposed to cook for? It says 10 to 12 minutes. It's in a rolling boil. I think I'm done. I'm gonna take it out, guys. So give me a minute while I drain this, and then I will bring it back so you guys can see how we mix the butter into it. Bear with me, guys. Okay, turn that off. Alrighty. And I like to run a little bit of cold water when I drain my pasta water into the sink. Okay. Alrighty. It looks like we're good. We're gonna put it right here because that's hot. All right. So once again, as I mentioned, while the pasta is still hot, we're gonna put it back in, and a little bit of pasta water in the back into the with the Dutch oven is fine. I'll show you in a minute, guys, what I'm gonna do. Oh my goodness, stubborn macaroni, get out. You know what? Oh, fine. Goodness. Okay. I was about to say we're gonna leave you out. You want to be part of the mac and cheese goodness. All right, guys. I'm over here fighting with the one little macaroni that did not want to go back into the pot. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. Here we go. We're gonna add the butter. We're gonna add one there. Oh, we're just gonna add it all and start mixing. So that is about 3/4 of the stick of butter, salted. And we're just gonna mix it and get it incorporated into the pasta, into the macaroni. Especially right now because it is really, really hot. And I did put it back on my burner. It's off, but the thing about electric stovetops is that there's still radiant heat. So there's still heat on this. And right now I just have it here so that the butter melts into the pasta correctly. And that way it maintains it warm. But I am going to move it out of this heating element and then place it over here on that side where there is no heat. But as you can see, that butter incorporates really well. So make sure that when you do that the macaroni is still nice and hot. And there we go. Alrighty, it's looking good. Now we need another vessel, and we are going to preheat the oven to 375. We're going to go for 30 minutes. Okay. What's that? Yeah, I might as well put on the mitts. I don't want to burn my hands. All right. Got to move it because that's still hot. All right. There we go. As you can see, that is the macaroni, the way it looks. We still have about a quarter of the butter. And next, we're going to grab my other Dutch oven because this isn't big enough for the once we put all the cheeses together. So I'm going to grab another Dutch oven. Oh man, forgive me. I hope I'm not breaking your guys' ears for those of you that might be watching on your phones or TVs. Sorry if that was kind of loud. The Culinary Fanatic likes using, in his video, he used a 3-quart, I think it was a 3-quart Lodge little Dutch oven. I want to say it's a casserole, but I think it is a casserole. I don't think you can consider it a Dutch oven, but I'm not going to be using that because I want enough space and I don't want to risk burning it. So what I'm going to do is actually use my 5-quart. I'm going to be using the 5-quart Staub that I have here, which is the Supreme. If you guys aren't familiar with Supreme, they are a clothing brand. They like doing a lot of collaborations with all kinds of companies. So I haven't really featured this one, but it's a very beautiful Dutch oven. I think there was only about 500 of these Dutch ovens made, I think, or maybe even less. So I want to say it's on the rare side. But this is the lid. It's got a nice golden knob on it. You can see the Supreme logo. I think I've only used it maybe once. I made, my wife was sick when I had first bought it, and I made her chicken noodle soup with it. So it turned out pretty great. But anyway, we're going to need this. See, as you can see, this one's a 4-quart, and this one's a 5.5-quart. But before I do so, let's see, what size is the Dutch oven with the pasta in it? Yeah, so the one with the pasta in it is a 4-quart, and this one's a 5.5-quart. Yeah, you know what? Debbie says honey and lemon, Lewis. When I was sick, I had that and hot lemonade. Yeah, I need to do something for this cough. I'm sorry, guys. Don't know if I'm blowing out your ears with the coughing. Honey Badger, nothing gets rid of a cough like mac and cheese. I wish that was a reality. It's like saying, you know what I wish? That you could eat all the carbs in that you love, whether it's pizza, hamburgers. Oh my God, I used to love eating Whoppers. I mean, for me, it was always Whoppers. I grew up with Burger King, guys. I'll be honest. You guys might hate me for it, but I've never really liked McDonald's. I feel like their bread was subpar. It wasn't that great. It was dry. But anyway, I mean, the meats were okay for McDonald's, but for me, growing up, it was always Burger King. And I do wish that that all these foods that we enjoy eating, like ice cream, cookies or desserts, whatever was great for you, like mac and cheese. I wish it was great for the cough, which I'm sure it's not going to help at all. But anyway, Debbie says, I like smoked better than regular paprika. Like someone said, make it like you like it. Some of them spices can be overwhelming. Yeah, I actually do like smoked paprika better, but it has become really hard for me to find smoked paprika. So every store that I've gone to, it's actually really, really hard for me to find any. So I've just gotten the standard paprika. Aaron Sanchez, Billy Lee Lawson. I watch Aaron. It's the spices that get me: smoked, sweet, regular paprika, and on and on. Yeah, it's always great to try new things. Honestly, guys, I've always had that mentality. When I was younger, I was a picky eater. I'll be honest. But obviously, I was a eater because when I was growing up, I'll be honest, I was pretty overweight. You guys can ask my sister; she's here. She'll tell you I was overweight. I used to love eating. I mean, I never skipped a meal. I'll be honest with you guys. My mom fed me well. She fed me well. Yeah, see, my sister says that my pizza was salty. Yeah, it was. So I can admit to those things. Like I said, it's not always, like some of the influencers on Instagram. Some of them will let you know, yeah, you know what? Sometimes it's just for the Instagram profile. So you know, they look great on these photo shoots, but in reality, they want you to know that shaming yourself is not a good thing because in reality, it's not what it always looks like. So, my food might look awesome, but I'll be honest, there's times where it doesn't taste great. It might look awesome, but it doesn't taste great. And that's a sad reality because it hurts. I'll be honest with you guys, it hurts knowing that your food isn't that great, especially because you're hoping to get a good reaction out of those people that are trying your food. And honestly, I'll be honest, when nobody really says much about your food, it kind of hurts. But it is what it is. If you're learning, that's the only way for you to get better. You got to be open to the criticism. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? Corey Clark says, I don't boil until done because they will cook some more. Oh, yeah, yeah. And then they can get mushy, which now that you say that, I'm stirring it right now, but they're still hard, but I'm scared that they might get mushy. So, anyway, I've been rambling on. Let's get into building this. So, we're going to do a layer. Actually, what I need to do is grab some of this pasta here. Pasta. Some of this butter, and we're going to butter up this pan. And I didn't pre-rinse this because I actually like to keep these hand washed. I don't stick any of my enameled cookware in the dishwasher, even though it says that it's dishwasher safe and all this other stuff. You know what? I found my dishwasher to be great, but I don't like the way it leaves. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, or maybe mine because mine's cheap, but it always has that fragrance from the soaps. And I always pre-rinse my cups. I always pre-rinse everything my utensils, my plates, because I don't want that taste in my food. That's why sometimes I prefer hand washing. So when it comes to these utensils like the enameled Dutch ovens, I prefer to hand wash them and not stick them in the dishwasher. I mean, I think there's been one or two occasions where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna stick it in the dishwasher. But from there, very rare. And that was in the beginning when I started cooking. All right, so with the leftover butter, I obviously got that fully buttered up, and now we're ready to start building. So we're gonna do a layer of macaroni. That's my oven. It's ready. Oh man, maybe this one is a little bit big. Hopefully it'll work because it's already looking like it might be too big for this mac and cheese. For some reason, I didn't think this one was that big. It's only a 5.5. How can that be? Well, looks looks can be deceiving. All right, one more. What I'm going to do is not necessarily make 5 layers. I'm just going to throw cheese and mix it up. That way we get a proper mixture of all the cheeses. All right. Bring in the cheeses over here. So that way we can get started. Okay. I'm going to do the first layer is going to be sharp cheddar. And I think I want to leave the sharp cheddar at the top to get that traditional mac and cheese look. Actually, well, what I probably should have done, no, I think it's fine. The milk mixture that he adds to it. I don't have any milk, sadly, because my milk went bad. But I do have some heavy whipped cream or heavy whipping cream, and so I'll be using that. And I might add a little bit of water to thin it down. And we're gonna do the 4 eggs. And what else does he add? I think some paprika and some seasonings to it. All right, we got there one. Then we're gonna do a little bit of mozzarella. This might be a lot of cheese, guys. I don't think I have enough macaroni. I didn't have enough because that box was open. Sadly, um, I figured I had everything, and I bought all the cheeses, bought all the ingredients, and I come home to find out that my milk is expired and I don't have macaroni. All right, that's mozzarella. Next, we're gonna add some pepper jack, a little bit of pepper jack. And I have more of these than I do the Parmesan and the smoked cheddar. So I'm going to do those towards the middle. All right, I think that's good. Let's do another layer. Yeah, it's not enough pasta, guys. I have a ton of cheese and not enough pasta. Once again, might look pretty, it might, but my measurements are off. So obviously I'm going to have to save some of this cheese and possibly make more mac and cheese for tomorrow and share it once again, because that's going to be a lot of carbs. I did want to make some cornbread to go with the mac and cheese as well, but I figured I can do the like a live video or a video with the Lodge cornbread mixes. All right, we're gonna add some smoked cheddar. Since we haven't done any of the smoked cheddar, we're gonna add a layer of that. That's what I meant, towards the middle. Can you make the this in a standard uh, like seasoned cast iron? Yeah, I think you can. It might be a little hard on your seasoning. It might. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think you could do it. Just obviously, you're gonna have to take it out, or hope that everybody chows down on the mac and cheese, so that way it pretty much gets eaten or out of the seasoned iron that you might be using. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, since, as I said, we hadn't done those cheeses yet. And these cheeses were less than 1 pound. So the smoked cheddar, and that's white cheddar, smoked white cheddar was about maybe like a half a pound, not even, probably like a half a pound. And the Parmesan also about a half a pound. So not full 1 pound blocks of cheese. All right, then we're going to go on to adding another layer. Once again, I wish I would have actually looked in my pantry to see what I had instead of guessing. That always happens to me. And my wife actually says, "Why don't you ever look? Why don't you ever look in the pantry?" And you know what? She's actually right. For once, she's right. Don't tell her I said that. She's gonna. Hopefully, she's not watching. Actually, if you guys don't hear from me, you guys will know why. I need to come up with some hand signs for in case I'm in danger. I don't know if you guys have seen those memes. I think it's from The Simpsons. Like, I'm in danger. Sometimes I tell my wife, like, yeah, you kind of scare me sometimes. It can be scary. All right. Next, we're going to do more mozzarella. See, with all the cheeses and everything that we're adding, yeah, it's starting to build up. One thing that I did notice is that the first time I was being very careful of the amount of cheese I was putting into the mac and cheese, and it came out somewhat dry. So even though it looks like there's way more cheese than there is pasta, that's kind of what you're aiming for. You want more cheese than you do pasta. Reason being is that it all kind of emulsifies together once you start baking it. So not that it necessarily shrinks down, but it does fill in all the little voids that were, here that it's missing. We're adding here also some pepper jack. I think that's good enough on the pepper jack. And then lastly, we're going to do some more of the cheddar. Actually, I want to add that one last. We're going to do some more the last of the smoked cheddar. Man, that is a lot of cheese. That's going to be some cheesy mac and cheese. Throw in the rest of my pasta. Which was nothing, honestly. That was pretty much all gone. Okay. And let's see, what else do I want to do? Oh, I think that's about it. Probably do a little bit of, or the rest of the Parmesan since there wasn't that much left over anyway. And we're going to finish it off with the cheddar. Like I said, it looks like a lot of cheese, and I'll be honest, it is a lot of cheese. So we started with the sharp cheddar, and we're going to finish it off with the sharp cheddar. I was about to say sharp cheddar. Alrighty. So we have some cheese left over. Reason being is that I didn't have enough pasta. So now we're going to add some paprika. I need to get myself some more paprika. And, oh, you know what? I totally forgot to add the parsley. I was supposed to add a little bit of parsley. That's what he does. We're going to add it on top. Hopefully it does fine. He layered the parsley. I totally forgot that ingredient. I should have layered it. Well, it is what it is. So that is parsley. All right. Now we got to do the milk mixture, which is eggs and some heavy cream. In there, I'm going to also add some garlic powder and onion powder and some salt. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. I haven't paid attention to the chat yet, guys. I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to get this into the oven. Alrighty. Now I need to clear some space over here to get to my blender because we're going to need to blend it. Bear with me, guys. Almost there. Get a close up on the mac and cheese. Alrighty. I have a NutriBullet, and it comes with this nice little attachment, so that way I don't have to get the bigger one all dirty. So I should have looked for it earlier. There it is. Thankfully, I like to keep myself organized, even though my wife says I'm OCD and technically makes fun of me. But that is the reason why I like staying organized, is because I can find stuff. I know where everything's at. All right, so like I said, I'm going to be using this little attachment for the NutriBullet. I'm going to rinse it out because I don't remember if I had cleaned it or hand washed it. So I'm going to rinse it out real quick. And here we go. Now, with this, I think he measured about, I want to say, a cup of milk. So I think I have measurements on this thing. Oh my goodness, I do not. So I'm just going to eyeball it, to be honest. Is it okay to eyeball food ingredients sometimes? Yes. Especially because this isn't milk like it's supposed to be. Actually, I could probably use half and half. Now that I think about it, yeah, I'm going to use half and half. I'm sure that works just as fine. What do you guys think? Can I substitute milk for half and half? Also, we need 4 eggs. You know what's nice about having, I'm using actually an apron, is that it has pockets. And I'm taking the eggs out of the carton, and I like putting the eggs in the pockets. Oh, my sister-in-law is in here too, Naomi. She says I use an actual cup. Of course you do. I like teasing my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, if you need milk, I'm across the parking lot. Yeah, I'm gonna use half and half. I'm thinking it's gonna be okay. And guys, I'm gonna be sharing this, so tell your daughter to come and grab some when I call you. That way, we can share this, because this is gonna be a lot of mac and cheese, and there's no way that we're gonna eat all that. Alrighty. Just so that everybody's a-okay with it, what I'm going to do is actually measure it out. I feel bad. People are giving me grief. I need to measure it out. Okay, I'll measure it out. I do have half and half. Yes, put a few shots of what was it? Half and half. A few shots of what is it? Worcestershire sauce in it too. I actually don't have any Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. I just recently threw out mine because it went bad. I used it several times over the year, but it got to the point that I probably had maybe about a half a bottle left. And I went to go look at it, and sure enough, it was expired, so I had to toss it. Alrighty. Rinsed out the measuring cup here. So for you guys that are proper and want me to measure things, here we go. We got 1 cup of half and half, which I think is fine. My other sister's here too, Martha. She says that, what did she say? I saw that she wrote something. Half and half will make it much creamier and delicious. Yes, so we're gonna do half and half next. We need the 4 eggs. I was about to go back to my refrigerator because I had forgotten, and I almost squashed the eggs that I have in my pockets. In my pockets here, the apron. Alrighty. There we go. There's one. Don't know why I'm doing it in this one. It doesn't matter if you do it in this or in that, because it's all going to go into the same place. Oh my. There's 2. 3. And one more. 4. Alrighty. Now we're going to season it. I think what I want to do is add a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder. Don't know about the about anything else. What do you guys think? Now I'm just eyeballing the garlic powder. So that was garlic powder, and we got some onion powder. And like I said, we're just eyeballing. Onion powder there. And I think that's good. We're going to mix it all together. All right. Let's put the cap on this thing. And here we go. Blend it up. Make sure it's nice and tight on there. And here we go. Alrighty. Once again, here is the mac and cheese. We already have some paprika, some parsley. Was it parsley? I think it was parsley. My goodness, I'm already forgetting what ingredients I have. I don't make this very often. I usually do it during the summer. I think that's good enough. Alrighty. So if you guys watch the Culinary Fanatic, that is where I got this recipe from. He has about 7 million views on this recipe. So I think a lot of people liked it, and I think that's why a lot of people shared it. So he does also mention to avoid getting the paprika. What we're going to do is just pretty much fill it up, or use all the mixture as best as we can to fill it up. And we're going to get some creaminess into this. And I'm mostly staying away from the middle parts. But what I'm going to do is probably add a tad bit more of paprika on the outside edges. So there we go. And lastly, we're going to add a little bit more of the paprika. Oh my goodness. Did I forget? I think I forgot salt. Of course I did. I was supposed to add salt to that thing. Well, like I said, it looks fantastic, but hopefully the taste is there. I know Parmesan has salt in it. I used salted butter. So let's just pray that it turns out fine. I'm going to stick it in the oven now. I'm not going to add any breadcrumbs or anything of that nature. We're just going to do it like this. And I think that the Culinary Fanatic does it just like this. Yeah, and that's the problem. The cheese already has salt in it, so I don't think I need the salt. I'm traumatized at this point because that pizza was bad. I mean, the pizza turned out great, but the pizza was bad. And what I'm referring to is the deep dish pizza that I showcased on the channel. And yeah, so anyway, here we go. Oh man, this is heavy. All righty. Oh god, it even bends the racks in there. But we're gonna go for 30 minutes covered. So if you guys have Siri, I'm gonna hopefully not set yours off, but I'm gonna tell mine. So hey Siri, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes starting now.
All righty. All right, so what to do now? Should we watch it bake? I'm just kidding. I gotta actually what I want to do is actually just chat with you guys quickly and do somewhat of a seasoned iron. So I'm gonna get a little bit of news out to you guys. So bear with me. Let me adjust the tripod here. Move you guys down a bit. I want to get you guys motion sickness. So there are some things that I want to show you guys. Here we go. Now, I'm not all dolled up today. I look like a bum, to be honest, but at this point, I don't think anybody cares. Okay. So, can everybody see me? I actually don't know if that's good enough. What I need to do is actually grab my tablet. Where is it? There it is. Alrighty. So I want to talk to you guys about carbon steel cookware. So while that's baking, we're going to talk a little bit about carbon steel. What I want to do is actually look at what I'm going to, where am I? Search. Got to search myself. That way I can see the chat. Do I even pop up? Never really. Oh, here we go. I do pop up. All right. So I'm watching myself. Alrighty, guys. Let's see. Let's catch up. I want to see what you guys have been talking about. Papa Dan says, tip here, crack egg into separate container, one egg, then pour into the other ingredients. Yes, I've actually seen that done, and I'll be honest, I am bad at that. I know that I should be because there was one time my sister was doing the same thing. She was cracking the eggs, and I think I forget what we were using. I think we were making scrambled eggs, and it was early in the morning. And I tell my sister, I said, "Hey, I'll help you, make some food." And what happened was that she cracked the egg, and obviously went into the ingredients, and it ruined the just everything else. So we had to get rid of the all the other eggs we had already cracked to get that one out because it had mixed into the other eggs. So yeah, it is better for you to separately, place your eggs. That way, if you have a bad one, it's not going to ruin all the other ingredients. So yes, that is a good tip, Papa Dan. My sister, my goodness. Are you guys, now that I mentioned that the pizza was salty, now you guys are over here, blasting me. Luis, don't worry about the salt. We had enough sodium from the pizzas you made last weekend. Yes, thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate your support. What family's for, right? Tell you the bitter, honest truth. Why don't you make us a chocolate cake? You never bake for us, and when that I do it for work. Yeah, I bake a lot for work. I'll take some baked goods to work, and you guys get some of the stuff that I bake. Stop lying. You guys are a bunch of whiny. Won't even say the other part, but you guys know what you are. Cynthia Wesley says it'll be fine, Louise. Cheese is salty. Yes, it is, and I learned that the hard way with the pizza that I made last weekend. They were super salty. All righty, guys. So, okay. Now that we're here, I'm over here looking at the chat. So, what I wanted to showcase, guys, is the obviously I've been on a journey for some time now about carbon steel cookware, and to be honest, I think it's a great piece of cookware that you can own, and I do recommend it a lot. But I'm stuck on my old ways, and I prefer cast iron cookware. And the reason being is that there's so many things that you can do with cast iron cookware that you can't necessarily with sometimes carbon steel cookware. And what I mean by that is like this. If you want to bake anything necessarily, bake a cornbread, you can't really get something nicely baked into something like this. It's just the sides are flared, and it's not necessarily like a round, flat edged piece. So it's flared, and you're not really going to get a good looking piece of cornbread from this pan. So most of the pans are obviously going to be almost like chef skillets. Now, what I have here is actually McMurray. So what I was going to do for you guys was actually post a video about McMurray, but since we're here and we're just trying to kill some time while the mac and cheese is in the oven, I figured I might as well just talk about McMurray. McMurray hand forged. It's handmade ironware. Here is the close up. Hopefully, you guys can see it of their logo. Very nice logo. I do like it a lot. But McMurray, I had already purchased something, and I gave my sister-in-law, Naomi, I gave her one of the pans that I had gotten from McMurray. And the reason being is that that pan was massive. It was in almost like I think it was almost like a 12 inch. I think this is a 12 inch. They say this is an 11 and a half, but I've measured it and it measures 12 inches. But anyway, it's around this size, the pan that I gave my sister-in-law, but it was kind of like the Finex where it has 8 points and it's pointy. And whenever I would use it, in the kitchen, it was always kind of hard to maneuver. And I gave it to her because I figured that since my brother likes to do a lot of outdoor cooking, a lot of outdoor grilling, that they would be using it outdoors. But I, come to find out that she actually uses it indoors to make or saute her vegetables, which I'm happy that they actually do use it. So McMurray makes a lot of cool cast iron cookware and crazy designs too. This is one of them. This is the Vaquero skillets, which are if you guys are looking for handmade carbon steel cookware here in the USA, these are a great price. They're thick gauge metal. I want to say this is about 4 millimeter thickness. So these pans are going to last you a very, very long time, and they're not going to get warped that easily. I mean, you're going to have to heat these up, really, really high heat in order for you to warp them, or leave them unattended, or just throw them in the fire for that matter, for you to cause some good damage to these. But these are, built tough, and that's one thing that I like about McMurray. They build awesome stuff, and I know Rick has some McMurray. I don't know if Rick has the Vaqueros, but I know that he owns some McMurray. Now, the story behind McMurray is that they were originally out in Modesto, California. Uh, and when I found them through Instagram. What ended up happening is that they were in the process of moving their entire business and their shop and their lives to another state. So they moved, and when I decided to get these, which was a year ago, um, they were in that process of moving. So what happened was that that year went by, and a lot of things happened to them. A lot of bad things happened to them. I'll be honest. Um, I think somebody in their family. I think actually not just somebody. I think two of their close relatives, or I think it was their mom or their mother or father. I can't recall if it was his mother or his father or his wife's, but they ended up passing away during that COVID transition from 2021 to 22. So they stopped pretty much producing ironware. Um, and I kind of left it like that because I had already paid for this, and I did pay for these, and you know, I kind of let it be. So sure enough, I'm going through, and I had, to be honest, I had completely forgotten about these. So then finally, I'm going through my emails, and I was erasing emails, and I'm like, oh my god, I had bought these. So I just sent him a quick message on social media, and thankfully he responded, and he said, hey, we're really sorry, but I'm going to start getting back into it. And he's now fully, and I'm not going to say it's because of me. I did message him, and I did notice that once I messaged him asking, hey, is there any ETA on the pans that I had bought from you? He started producing ironware once again. So he's in full force right now. So if you guys are looking for any kind of carbon steel cookware, as you can see, these are built just really, really well. And I want to support him. So if you guys are looking for carbon steel cookware, especially made here in the USA, go give McMurray a look. And right now he's hammering out, honestly, just a lot of awesome stuff, a lot of amazing cookware. And he doesn't just do, simple style like this. He does artistic pieces as well. Same thing with the handles. He does some crazy artistic handles on his pans. And he has all kinds of stuff. He has round roasters. He has oval roasters. chef skillets like this. He has deep skillets, you name it. He has a lot of just a lot of stuff. He also does like spatulas and things of that nature. So a lot of cool things. So if you guys want to support him, go check out his page. I think he's on Instagram. You can find him there. You might be able to find him on like the internet. McMurray, I think it's McMurray Ironware, or you type in McMurray Hand Forged. But give him a look. He has great stuff, and he's actually very fairly priced, considering that there are other companies out there that are like Creative Blanc's Creative. I think Blanc's Creative. They have awesome pieces of cast iron cookware. I'm sorry, carbon steel cookware. But I'll be honest, they're really highly priced. They're expensive. I think their least expensive is in the 280s. This set for the 8-inch and the 12-inch was, I think, about 120 last time I checked. But if you guys want something like this is fairly priced, and for the amount of labor and all the work that he puts into it, he does a great job. So I'm happy that I have these now, and I will be doing a review of these. Not necessarily doing an unboxing, because when he shipped them, he just shipped them in a standard USPS box. So there really wasn't a point to doing an unboxing, but I will be doing a video just showcasing them and also cooking with them, so you guys know how well they hold up. So look forward to that in future videos. But once again, McMurray doing a great job, and I appreciate that he got me these even after the year, but at least I got my pans. So I'm happy, and I'm hoping that he's doing well and that his family's doing well. So I hope that God keeps blessing him. So with that being said, let's move on to some other cookware that I have that I want to talk about. And this is not necessarily bad news, but maybe it might be for some of you. Here we have Burrow Furnace. Now, if any of you know Burrow Furnace, it's mostly because of Anthony Bourdain. He did a video featuring Burrow Furnace, and they got a lot of popularity. They got a lot of media attention because of the interview that they did with Anthony Bourdain. So, they're pretty well known in the culinary world. But for me, their design, and especially with their updates, because they recently updated, the whole COVID thing messed them up, I think. So they were shut down for almost 2 years during that COVID. And recently they just started making skillets once again, but they're not in full production yet, like with the items that they had before. They are producing some newer stuff, but some of their older stuff they haven't really gotten back to those items yet. So with that being said, the updated model like this one here that I own, and I've showcased it on the channel before, has a solid piece for the handle, and it's heavy. I mean, it's if you, I mean, it's still balanced pretty well, I want to say, but this is heavy. So for me, I'm not a big fan of the handle design. The older version didn't have a solid piece. It was like a U, which I feel like was a better handle design. But I think that what was going on was that it was possibly not as comfortable, because maybe the U design, the under part, like the underside of it, might be uncomfortable after holding it, or for whatever reason it didn't work out for them, so they decided to do it as a solid piece. And in their on their website, they're stating that it helps with the cooling. I haven't noticed that at all. To be honest, I think it makes it worse. This handle gets super hot. And if you guys also watch Cook Culture, he did a review on it, and I think he was because he was excited to get this, and so was I. I was excited because there was so much flair behind it. But once I got it, all that kind of faded away. It's almost like when you meet your like a celebrity that you want to meet, and then sometimes they kind of let you down. It's similar to, for me, that was kind of similar to the experience. I finally got to own one of these pans, and I was kind of let down on the design. One of the things that I don't like either is just, I'm not sure if you guys can tell here, but this lip here is lower than the actual like overall uh, pan. So this is a very critical area, especially if you want to saute. So if you want to saute, this is going to be in the way. The helper handle is going to be in the way, and then the food is going to want to fall out, which has happened to me before. So that makes no sense to me. The handle design doesn't make any sense to me either. I think that if they were to make this flat, it would help out and go all the way to the top instead of having it this way. So if they go all the way to the top, keep it this same height instead of doing a notch here, it would definitely help out the pan. And then I think the other thing too is if they were to lay this flat, it would work out better. I'm not a designer for cast iron cookware. I'm only a user. And with me using it, those are the things that I've noticed. And I think Jed from Cook Culture said the same thing. He didn't like this notch on it either. And the same thing goes for the backside. It has a lower notch as well. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is lower here than it is on the sides. So sadly, I'm not a big fan of Burrow Furnace. And I think this is the first and the last pan that I will purchase from them. I mean, I might consider their enamel Dutch oven. It is kind of expensive though, and they don't have it available at the moment. But they did have a limited production run of their enamel Dutch oven. I think it was like during the holidays last year. But they're out of inventory. So for me, I'm not a big fan of the skillets. I think it looks cool. Like the idea of it is awesome, but just the functionality, it's not there, guys. This is my opinion. Now, if you guys are fanatics of this, this design, and if you guys love Burrow Furnace, then I'm happy for you guys. But for me, it doesn't work for what I want it to do. It's a lot shallower here. You can't even, shallow fry anything because there's more tendency of that oil to spill on that side and on this side. So for me, it's not the best. I think that this is more of an omelet pan than a cast iron skillet. So like I said, sad news. I don't like it, and I'm being honest with you guys. I don't like the design. I wish that they would have kept the handle, um, not solid. They would have kept the older design, and I wish they would have done something with the helper handle instead. But well, it is what it is. I want to read your guys' comments. Corey Clark says must be a pour spout. It might be. It might be. I mean, I'm not sure, but to me, it's in the wrong spot. I'll just put it that way. Debbie says that's a designer pan. Does it cook good? It cooks pretty evenly. Yeah, it does. Like I've done omelets and I've done fried eggs, and it does really well. It cooks really well. But other than that, I mean, what is this pan? For sautéing, it's not good. Your food items are going to fall out. So for sautéing, I don't think it's the best. For searing a steak, probably will be okay. Like a one small ribeye, filet mignon, New York steak. But I'm talking about small guys because this is the 9-inch. So the cooking surface is a lot less than the 9-inch. So for me, like I said, uh, I don't have much use for it, and that's a sad reality for me because even though I have 200 plus pieces of cast iron now, I always find some kind of joy of using all these other ones, and they are useful and they're functional in their use, in their design. So for me, this one has been technically the only one that the design is not working for me. But like I said, that's my opinion. Billy Lee Lahone says the lower notch makes no sense at all. Yeah, I can't even pronounce that. I might have butchered that, but he's saying hi, Luis. He or she is saying hi, Luis. What is your favorite modern brand of cast iron skillets to cook with? My personal favorite are between Lodge Like outdoor cooking has to be Lodge. Lodge is phenomenal outdoors, and I'm talking about their camping ovens. I'm talking about their overall skills. They're tough. They're thick. They're heavy. They're tough. They're meant for outdoor cooking. So Lodge for outdoor, that's my go-to. Um, for indoor cooking, I want to say Finex. Finex is probably my favorite for inside the kitchen. And with a close second is Field Company, Butter Pat, and Smithy. Smithy, I feel like is better suited also for outdoors. Same thing with what is it, Fredericksburg cast iron, and they're one of the pans that actually has one pour spout, and I think it's on the left, so it's meant for right-handed people. So I know a lot of people don't like the one pour spout design, but like if you're a lefty, that's not going to work. But anyway, Fredericksburg, very thick cast iron cookware, and also I think it's meant for outdoor cooking. Same thing with Smithy. Finex is heavy and robust as well, but yeah, I think it does really well inside the kitchen, along with Field Company and Butter Pat. They're really good at indoor cooking. So I mean I can't really give you one because I have so many. Let's see. Honey Badger says if Burrow Furnace concentrated on making enamel Dutch ovens, they would be killing it. I think so as well. I've been waiting for over a year for one, and they're braising pans. Yeah, and you know what? I think their braising pans are out right now, and I just got an email because I do have I'm like on their emailing list. They sent me one where you can buy the bundle, which is the braising pans along with the number 9 and number 10 skillets. So if you guys are interested in that, I think it does run for about $700. So I mean, it's on the higher price, and it's I think 4 or 5 pieces. So I think they do also include their bottle opener. But I mean, if you guys want to, yes, you can get yourself the whole set for Burrow Furnace. But right now they are not offering the enamel Dutch oven. I think they do have the seasoned Dutch oven, but to me, their seasoned Dutch oven also, and I'm sorry to say, doesn't make any kind of sense to me either. Papa Dan, am I not visible, or is it possibly your connection? Guys in the chat, let me know. Can you guys see me pretty well? Can you guys hear me pretty well? RD says, where would you rank Stargazer? Stargazer is is also up there with the elite modern pans. And I'm talking about Finex, Butterpat, but there's the modern elite, and then there's I want to say a tier above that, which Butterpat actually falls above them. Reason being is that Butterpat is fully handmade. Um, Stargazer, I think, is still using like a like a machine that pours into it. The other one that falls into that category and it's kind of surprising because it's not as well known as the other companies, but Lancaster cast iron, when they started. So if you guys have their first pans, everything was handmade, and I think even to this day, all their pans are handmade, from what I know. And I do know that they just moved and they bought a new milling machine, so they do mill their cast iron cookware, and they recently bought a new one. But their milling process of it was actually pretty awesome, and they had a very old machine that was doing their milling. So, and they would do that in shop. So Lancaster also I think is on a higher tier, and the reason being is that it is super lightweight. I want to say that the super like almost like hyper elite for cast iron cookware would be Butter Pat, Lancaster, and the reason being is because they are almost, I want to say almost like vintage iron. I mean, their quality is on par with Griswold, Wagner, and you guys might be saying this guy's crazy. No, if you guys have actually tested out any of the Butter Pats or any of the Lancaster, they're you know very close in weight in material and quality with the Griswolds, the Wagners, the Martin Stone Range, and all those other vintage pieces of or cast iron manufacturers of that time. But Stargazer falls in with Finex, with Smithy. Um, they're in that group, I want to say, and same thing with like Fredericksburg. Same thing, they're on that same tier list. So Stargazer, I think, has a good pan. Now, the only thing that I want to say about Stargazer is that same thing goes with like similar to what happened with McMurray. Stargazer, I think, opened up their brazing, their 13-inch brazier to for pre-order. I think it was in the end of 2020. We're in 2023, and there's nothing yet. Now, I'm not going to be talking bad about Stargazer because I like Stargazer, but 2 years for development, and they were saying that they were already developing it a year prior to this. So I don't know exactly what's going on. Um, but I do hope that they bring it out this year at least. I think the last email said that we're look forward to it by fall of 2023, and they said that 2 years ago. So I'm just hoping that Stargazer can catch up because they are falling back in the sense that all they have is just the 10.5 and the 12-inch. They don't have anything else. They don't have lids. They don't have Dutch ovens. They don't have the brazier. They're missing a lot of stuff. So, and not only that, but they don't have any accessories either. So, Stargazer, I want to say, is not with the modern elite, maybe a bit lower than. So, if I said that they're on the same level, at the moment, no, they might be a little bit lower. And the reason being is that they don't have all the other accessories that Field Company has. Like they have the leather handle holders. Same thing with Smithy. They have the leather handle holders. They have pot holders. They have accessories to go with your pans. So and those are just nice things to go along with lids. And Smithy Ironware also just introduced glass lids and also Dutch ovens. So they got more things. Yeah, they have their carbon steel lineup. Finex also, I mean, they were purchased by Lodge, so that kind of lets you know that Finex high quality, and Lodge, that's technically their elite modern pan is Finex. So Finex is doing great, and they have a lot of stuff. They just brought out a bunch of Dutch ovens, and who's to say that they're not going to bring out more things? They brought out also presses. So they're constantly bringing out new things, and every year they have a new product. So Stargazer has been several years since they've brought something to the table. So I want to say that they need to, kind of kick it up a notch. But the other one that I feel like is a modern, like a hyper elite would be Marquette. The only problem with Marquette though is that I think they stopped producing the. One of the viewers actually told me that they got a letter saying that, or they asked somebody from Marquette, and their response was that they were completely done with producing the 10.5-inch cast iron skillet. So if that's true, if you go to their website, you cannot purchase the 10.5 cast iron skillet. And it was fairly expensive because I think that thing was running for $260 for the 10.5. So I mean that's a high price. Butterpad I think is around the same price, but they were using investment casting, so very thin, very precise, and it's almost like a wax instead of like they use a little bit of wax I think to build the molds. Not necessarily. I don't necessarily know exactly the way it works, but I know that the process is a bit different than the modern or the standard way of making molds for your cast iron cookware. So maybe they don't have the funds for making, continue making the cast iron skillet. So we might not see Marquette uh, producing the high quality cast iron skillet that they were producing. They still are producing the dual handle pan, and that's one that I'm eyeing right now, but I'm not sure if I would consider buying one right now. That's my alarm. So let's go check the mac and cheese. And we'll get back into the conversation once I get the once I get the mac and cheese. Here we go. All righty, bringing you guys along. All right. So now what I have to do is remove the top. So let's see how it's doing. And I'm hoping that it looks okay and it's not, not have any issues. Oh yeah, that's looking great. I don't know if you guys can see it, but here we go. I mean, this thing is already looking great. Now, there's a lot of liquid in there. So what we need to do is evaporate some of that liquid and also brown that top. So we're going to let it go. I think Culinary Fanatics recipe says to let it go for another 20 minutes. So hopefully I don't set off your Siri. If you guys own one, I'm going to set my alarm. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Alrighty, guys. We're going to go back. I'll go back to answering some questions. Oh man, my tripod's about to fall over. Hopefully you guys are okay. I know that I hope that it's not as boring as I'm in my mind that's saying, wow, they're not going to enjoy this. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying this. My sister says, I'm kind of getting hungry here. Yeah, sorry guys. It does, it shouldn't be that difficult to make mac and cheese. Honestly, once you prep everything, it takes about maybe a 2-hour process, with the cooking. But once you get it down, the only reason why this is taking longer is because I'm doing the process. I'm showing the ingredients. I'm showing you how to do it. If you were to do this at home, I think you can get this done, like I said, within the 2-hour mark. And that's, baking it as well. All right, guys. Corey Clark says, what do you do for a living, Luis? I am a HVAC technician. I also, technically, I have 3 positions. During the summertime, my main job is the HVAC tech for the company, but I also manage the another property that the employer that I work for. I manage a car wash, so I'm the manager for a car wash, along with the pool manager at one of the apartment complexes that we manage. So I have a certification for pool operations, so I have a CPO. I have my certification in HVAC, and well, I'm just a manager at the car wash. So technically, that is my job. So yeah, how do I manage? Mostly remotely. A lot of people, especially the car wash, a lot of people, will send me either a voicemail or text messages, and I respond to those. I either go take a look at the wash if we have any issues or things of that nature. Same thing goes for heating and air conditioning during the summertime. Obviously, if there's some air conditioning units that are out, especially during like heat waves, I'm on call. So I'll go late at night if we have any issues during the wintertime. Same thing if there's a very cold night and some of the furnaces go out, I have to go take a look. And I'm talking about properties also being residential and commercial. So technically, that's my job. So yes, just so you guys know a little bit about me. Alrighty, let's see what else. Bookworm73 says looks great already, and yeah, I was actually surprised once I took the lid off of the Dutch oven. I was actually pleasantly surprised of how well the mac and cheese looks. Now, with the other times that I've done it before, I'll be honest, I did cream cheese and I melted all the cheeses first, incorporated all that, and then threw the cheese into the Dutch oven, and then place it in the oven. This time around, I did it just like the Culinary Fanatic. Now, I was using the same cheeses that the Culinary Fanatic was using before, except I was doing it my way. This looks a lot better than what I did, so I'm actually happy the way that this is turning out. Big D's Barbecue says there's a little bit of lag over here. I don't know if guys if it's my connection, so forgive me if my connection is a little bit slow. I hope that you guys can still see and hear me pretty well. Oh, Big D's Barbecue says that he's in California. Debbie says, "Don't forget the mac and cheese." Yeah, I had set up the alarm. All right, so ask me anything, guys. We'll make it an what is it? AMA. Ask me anything. Billy Lee Lahone says, "What brand is the Dutch oven?" That is the Staub limited edition Supreme Dutch oven. Supreme is a once again, it is a fashion designer company. They produce a lot of just modern designed clothing, and they do collaborations with like Lodge. They've done one with Lodge. They've done it with you know, I mean, you name it, Tools as well as Stanley. I think they've done it with Stanley, um, Rigid. I mean, they do all kinds of collaborations, not just food, but they do it with everybody and everything. So, and people go crazy over this stuff, and it's limited production stuff. So I do own the Lodge 10 1/4 inch Supreme skillet, and I think from what I know, they only made 500 of those, and they sold out within the I think 30 minutes that they placed them on sale. So luckily, my nephew, he's the one that likes these kind of things, so he'll jump on. And that day, he noticed that they had a cast iron skillet for sale, so he got it for me. So I'm very excited for that. Same thing with the Supreme Dutch oven. He told me, hey, they're doing another drop, and they have this Dutch oven. So I'm grateful for that. So yeah, it is a Staub or Stobe, and it's one of those that are made in France, just similar to the Le Creuset. Brett says, "How much carbon steel cooking do you do inside versus cast iron?" So, um, I recently started with the carbon steel cookware the beginning of the year, and honestly, since it's been wintertime, I've been mostly cooking all of the meals that I cook with carbon steel indoors. Now, I don't see myself using those outdoor at all, whether it's on a propane stove, like outdoor propane stove or anything of that nature. Why? Um, I feel like they're not made for that. They heat up really well on the electric stovetop that I have, and they work great indoors. One thing, obviously, that I do wish is that I had a gas stove, which, if you guys might not know, but I think I did mention it. I am moving to another place, and I'm gonna have a gas stove, and it's actually one of those, I think, 36-inch stoves, and I made sure that it's a gas stove. So I got it at a great price. I think I got it for 350 or 280. My brother ended up finding it, and it was missing the. It was brand new, but it was missing the oven cover. So I did purchase that, and it's a 36-inch gas stove. So I'm excited to use that once I move from where I'm at right now. And you guys will be seeing that soon. I'm hoping that I'll be moving soon. And like I said, I mean, I'll let you guys know the difference that I see between electric stovetops versus gas. I mean, I have used gas stovetops, so I'm not necessarily like unaware of how things work, but I think it's different when you're cooking indoors. So to quickly answer that question, I guess is that I think carbon steel is more for indoors versus cast iron, which I think you can use it in the oven, uh, on a stovetop, and over a campfire on a grill outside. I mean, this is why I love cast iron cookware. It's so versatile. Sorry, guys. Once again, I do have, I don't know what it is, allergies, a cold, whatever it is. I have something, so I keep coughing. Let's see. Anything else, guys? You guys let me know. Now, I don't know. I guess to recap on the Burrow furnace, and what I'm thinking is that I might end up selling that Burrow furnace skillet. I might just do a quick, like, updated review on it, but I think I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Burrow furnace. So, and I'm sorry to say it. And I might disappoint some of you, but it wasn't for me. I think there's some out there that are not for me. Corey Clark says you have the cast iron flu. I've had that since 2020. No, 2019. No, actually, no, it was 2018. 2018 was when I first got my first cast iron pan. It was, I think, during the summertime. The first thing I did was actually use it outdoors. Big D's Barbecue says, nothing like cast iron cooking. I found my peeps. Yes, we do a lot of outdoor cooking here. I like to do a lot of Dutch oven cooking during the summertime, as well as campfire cooking. So obviously right now where I'm at, which is actually in the Sierras, we got a lot of snow. We got a lot of cold weather. We got winds, and it's always something chaotic happening here. So the times that I can cook outdoors, I will do it. So when it's nice outside, I'll be outside cooking, whether it's on a gas grill, whether it's on the, like a um, campfire or anything of that nature. If I can have the chance to cook outside, I'd like to do it. So during the summer, I do a lot of that. Sorry, guys. I need to get some water. All right, let's see. Big D's Barbecue says, Rick, I'm not far from you. I'm in sunny San Bernardino. Honey Badger says, does the Burrow furnace have a hanger hole? Not technically. If you consider the helper handle a hanger hole, yeah, I mean you can hang it like this, but on the backside or on the handle, no. I'm gonna actually turn off the mic real quick, and I gotta clear my throat. All right, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, yeah, once that comes out, I'll once the macaroni and cheese comes out. You know what? Quickly, I just want to say thank you guys for all of you that are here. There's 32 people here on this live. I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for being here. And I do this because I enjoy doing this, and I assume that you guys like watching cast iron cooking and things of that nature, reviews, all these things. So, with that being said, just quickly wanted to say thank you to everybody. My sister-in-law says, what's your favorite Dutch oven and why? Favorite Dutch oven would be, I like my Staubs. And the reason being is that they're actually fairly, I think they're in the perfect weight. They're not that light and they're not that heavy. And the fact that they're enameled, it makes it easy for you to use. And I use that little red one that I used in the beginning. That one's my first enameled piece. That was my first one, and I got it on sale at William and Sonoma for, I think it was $100. The reason being is that it had a little pinhole defect on. It has, not that it has a little pinhole defect on the lid, but it's a very very tiny defect. And let me see if I can show you guys. And so I think somebody bought it and returned it for that reason. And when I went, I was lucky enough to see it, so I ended up getting it for $100. So let's see if you guys can see it. So that little pinhole right there is the reason why I got this 4-quart Dutch oven for $100. Since then, I've liked the enamel Dutch ovens for that reason. You can also use these in the oven, and they're great for baking breads. So yeah, I think the enamel Dutch ovens, you can make You can make a lot of things. Braising, um, you can deep fry, making bread. There's a lot of things that you can do with the enameled cast iron Dutch ovens. So, but my other favorite, non enameled or non coated pieces of Dutch ovens or things of that nature. But the other ones that I like a lot are actually the Lodge camping Dutch ovens. I love the Lodge Dutch ovens, especially the camping ones. And I was actually looking for a number 16 because those are super rare to find. And I did see one on eBay recently, but it's high priced. It's I think $500, and I can't see myself buying something like that for $600. I hope that I can find something because my brother was lucky enough to find a number 14 with a square bottom, so it's not one of the deep ones. So it's a shallow number 14, which they don't make anymore. And it was totally wrecked and just rusty and cruddy. But I threw it in the lye and I seasoned it, and man, that thing is beautiful. And that for me is like my prized Dutch oven. That number 14 shallow, I love that one. That one's my favorite, and I think my brother paid about $20 for that. So if you guys can go cast iron hunting and you guys can find yourself a vintage piece of cookware, even if it's cruddy, even if it looks just beat up and rusty, sometimes you can find yourself great stuff. Just clean it up, um, and you'll be surprised what you can find. I think the yesterday or last night the stream that Cast Iron Chaos did with the Mud Broker, he showcased one of the pans that he got for I think he said it was like $5 or $10 at the Goodwill, and it's one of those Erie pans with the what do you how do you call it it's a Erie number 9, but it has like a stylized font, and when he bought it, it was just crusty and you couldn't see anything, so he was pleasantly surprised. So for me, that's the way to go if you want to buy yourself cast iron cookware that's brand new, like modern stuff, great. But technically, where the treasures are at are on the vintage pieces because they stopped making certain, like the fluted cake pan was one of them. They stopped making it around, I think it was mid 2000s, I think, and with popular demand, it came back. So I like that kind of stuff, and like the cornbread skillets, and all these specialty ones. They're awesome to me. They're awesome, and I think that if Lodge was to bring back like the 20-inch dual handle pan that they had back in the 80s, man, that thing. I've wanted one of those for the longest time. I know Griswold made the 20-inch dual handle pan, and same thing with the Lodge. Man, I've seen them on listings on eBay, on Etsy, and they're just crazy expensive. I've seen a Griswold in like pristine condition, 20-inch for $3,000. There's no way I'm gonna buy that. I mean, is there a collector out there that's willing to pay that? Probably. I'm sure it's gonna sell. Also, there's somebody that's selling a 20-inch dual handle pan Lodge for I think $800. Is someone gonna buy it? Probably. Do I wish it was me? I do. I wish I could buy those, but no, that's a lot of money. I'm just hoping that I can run across one out in the wild. I want to say, somebody just trying to get rid of theirs. I do hope that I can find one. Bookworm 73 says the artistic Erie logo. Yeah, that one. That one. I mean, I think he said you couldn't even see the underside. So once he got rid of all that carbon buildup and he put it in electrolysis, it looked amazing. So those kinds of scores are the ones that I'm looking for. So I'm hoping that one day I can find the number 16 Lodge camping Dutch oven, and also the 12 number 20. I'm sorry, the number 20 dual handle Lodge or the Griswold. I mean, the Griswold would technically be the unicorn, But yeah, those are the ones for me. Brett says thoughts on Lodge Blacklock series. I love the Blacklock series. Now I do wish that they would update the handle. And the only reason I say that is I feel like the handle is a little too, not, badly designed, because I've gotten used to the handle, but I do wish that the handle was less sharp. So if anything, just pass it through a grinder, make it or round it or something. Um, they do have sharp, not rough, sharp edges. So I do wish that they could fix that. But the Blacklock series, I think, is great. Very lightweight. I think it's even lighter than some vintage Griswold, because I've weighed it myself. I pretty much have the whole Blacklock collection except for I don't have the deep fryer, the with the cover. I don't have that one, but I technically have everything else, and all their stuff is great. I like the weight on it, so it's very lightweight, but the covers are still pretty heavy, and they're smooth and they're triple seasoned, and they work really well. So anyway, guys, that is the timer. So let's go check out the mac and cheese, and let me know what you guys think. Once again, thank you everybody for being with me this late. And I mean, I know it's late because it's 8 o'clock here in the West Coast. So I'm only assuming that it's around 11 over there in the East Coast. Alrighty, guys. Oh, yeah, that looks great. I think we're done. Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, man. Oh, that is a lot of grease. Gonna have to drain that. So there is a lot of grease. So I think that's my only complaint on that. But there you guys go. That is the mac and cheese, which, as I said, I'm going to have to drain. There's like a pool of grease right there, but I think it looks great. And I'm definitely going to have to share this. So it is done. Um, Naomi, if you want some, come over. Alrighty. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I know that I kind of extended it to what was it, 6, 7, 8? No, my goodness, 2 hours, guys. 2 hours. So I hope you guys were entertained. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys give this a try. Ingredients, you guys need a lot of cheese. I will post ingredients once the video uploads, and that way, if you guys are interested, or you guys can go to the Culinary Fanatic, and he has about 7 million views on that video, and you can see his video and follow his instructions. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody who was here, who stayed here, all 38 of you guys. I appreciate everybody. So once again, I will see you guys next week. I appreciate your time. Thank you guys for watching. All right. Oh my goodness. Closer view for you guys.